Hello and welcome to another episode of the Contractor Grow Show. My name is Mark, and today I'm speaking with Ari Bacharach at Bacharach Construction in Portland, Oregon. Ari, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'd love to just hear kind of what services you guys provide for your customers in the Portland area.
Well, people come, the main thing that people ask us for is what's called tenant improvements in the commercial sector. This is usually involves turnover. It could be an office, a professional like a dentist or a lawyer. It also means kitchens, and it could be hotels downtown, all kinds of things. So returning to a vanilla shell, starting from a vanilla shell and doing a build out for a retail space, everything from storefront to restrooms. We're the GC, so we provide a full service.
Gotcha. Fantastic. And you guys are in Portland. Haley and I lived in Portland for many years. That's actually where she grew up. Folks still live in like Oswego. What's kind of the area they work in? Is it just in Portland, or is the kind of surrounding areas or even further out?
Yeah, I would say the metro area. I mean, we're licensed in Oregon and Washington. Most of our work has, over the years, been getting to a smaller and smaller radius, just staying towards the downtown area. But every once in a while, we jump out and go quite a bit further. We have a love for the Gorge, the Hood River, and the Mosier area. So if we get projects out there, we love to take it on. So we can make quite a reach, but our shop yard facility is in North Portland. So, I'm not interested in sending the guys on a 97-mile one-way trip, unless, of course, the client wants to pay for it. But usually,
right, sure.
Usually contractors stay somewhat local just because of costs.
Got it. Great. And so in the tenant improvement space in commercial, I mean, we've talked with some companies that are kind of in tenant improvement in, more kind of residential apartments, whatnot. What type of stuff comes up in the commercial space where you are taking on tenant improvements? I mean, a company moves out, are there like speed issues? You guys have to sometimes work, overnight. I mean, what are the characteristics that come along with that?
So in that sector, you have work that happens sometimes in occupied spaces. This is a phrase we use a lot. Somebody could be on the other side of a door, the other side of the wall. Somebody could be 3 stories above or below you and be complaining about noise if you're drilling or hammering away. So working in occupied spaces oftentimes mean doing night work or doing an early shift work, getting to the site at 4 or 5 a.m. and getting the bulk of the loud noise done before the public starts rolling into a coffee shop or a lawyer's office at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m., something like that. So occupied spaces is a big one, and maintaining, ADA access, fire, health, safety. There's all sorts of temporary measures that have to get put in place. Now, if a building is totally closed down and there's nobody in there other than work crews, there's still safety concerns that you have to follow. But that becomes a little bit easier as far as worrying about somebody's 8-year-old, crawling onto a lift or something like that, right?
Right.
So safety inspections become a big deal, and they become 10 times a big deal in an occupied space.
I see. And do you guys also have to deal with, turnover? We've got a tenant leaving this, we've got a new tenant wanting to come in. And with the commercial space, you're always looking at money lost. I suppose it's in any kind of building, but money lost because of, work not getting complete. Are there specific kind of speed requirements in many cases? Like we need to get this turned over and done so we can get, this building paying for itself again.
Yeah, you're referring to liquidated damages. Not a fun term to deal with as a contractor. If you're not done on time, there can be it spelled out in the contract that you will be fined $200, $300, $2,000, $10,000 a day, depending on the size of the project. So typical is 500 or 1,000. And, there's always reasons to push that drop dead date back. The owner could be at fault, the contractor could be at fault, the architect could be at fault. At fault is sort of a a negative term. We try to not focus on who's at fault, but somebody maybe dropped the ball, or there's just the building is old and we found skeletons in the closet. I use that term all the time. And then that could push the date because, hey, we don't need to pay liquidated damages because we found a skeleton in the closet. That's going to add more scope. But yes, turnover is something that is very important to the broker, to the building developer, to the owner, because they're trying to get someone in there and generate revenue and sign a new 5 or 10 year lease. And they want that to start on the first of the month, not 3 months from now.
Got it. Yeah. So you and your wife, Janique, are co-owners of the business. May work with a bunch of subs. I mean, what does your team look like? Do you have guys full-time? You work with mostly subs on things?
We self-perform a lot of work. We have a small team. We are not electricians. We are not plumbers. We are not journeymen in those trades. So we're subbing out to trade partners that we've worked with over the years that we like to work with and love to work with. And so they're completing their trade packages, and we're doing soft demo, finished carpentry, everything from drywall to painting. Yeah.
Gotcha. So you guys have had some amazing clients that, I recognize well. Central City Concern, Home Forward, Portland Public Schools, kind of Oregon Zoo. How did you learn this business? Getting these types of clients and, doing this type of, serious commercial work. Mm-hmm. I'm always curious how folks got into it and how they kind of learned the trade and how they kind of advanced along through it.
That's a great question. The typical progression in construction contracting, if you're young and you're starting out, residential contractor is sort of where you're going to go to. There's not as many requirements, and it's mostly just good effort, good faith, good craftsmanship, good stewardship of your business. The next step up from there is commercial. So somebody who you've built a deck for might say, hey, I actually have a brother-in-law who's opening a coffee shop, and do you want to do the cabinets for them? So maybe you just do one small piece on a small commercial job. And then from there, you can start managing bigger commercial jobs through networking. The next step up from that is public work. Now, public work oftentimes has bid opportunities that are put out to the public. So anyone can go onto a portal, see an opportunity, and submit a bid. But in order to submit a bid, you have to have certain certifications and liability insurance and these things in place. So you're growing your equipment tools, you're growing your ability, but most importantly, you're growing your insurance coverage and your experience, and then getting to a commercial level license with the Oregon CCB requires experience.
Gotcha. Interesting. And I'm taking a look at your site. You guys have got a beautiful site. How much of the business, can I ask, comes from like referrals versus kind of you guys' online presence? You guys have got a lot of great reviews. Do you have a sense of what that is? Is it almost all referrals or?
All referrals. Yeah. Very, very rarely does someone call and say, hey, can you talk to me about this? And we don't know each other through someone. In this industry, up until a certain point, I think it's very much referral based. And they say in business, it's who you know, and it's how you handle relationships. You've heard of Angie's List and Home Advisor and Google Map listing, and your car warranty is out, you need to pay this, right? Like all those calls that you get asking for links and whatnot, they don't usually go very far. It ends up just becoming sort of a rabbit hole, and we don't really enjoy that process. And I don't cold call, and it's usually all referrals. 90+%.
Gotcha. Great. And I noticed that you guys are very involved with the Jewish community in town. Mm-hmm. Does being kind of networked at that level, have you found that even just those kind of social relationships with, various kind of spiritual or religious communities, with the Jewish community, has that resulted in any, you guys growing the business at all, or is that just purely kind of off to the side?
I think it supports. I don't think that it is a focal point of all of the growth, but I think that it is a piece, and there's a trust piece there. So growing up in the Jewish community, having connections with people there, making sure that we are aware of, what our community needs are, that kind of thing. Being caretakers and stewards to, it could be a local church that needs a new bathroom and doesn't have a big budget. And so, yeah, I think that it's an addition, it's a piece, and I care as much for them being successful. And I think that speaks to sort of who we are as builders. We want people to grow with us.
Absolutely. Well, fantastic. What does the next few years look like for you guys? I mean, are you guys kind of in a really stable place with where you're at now, or are you guys looking to grow the business some?
We've grappled with that for a while. I think any entrepreneur or business owner that sees, certain growth happen over the years wants to keep doubling down, wants to make more. I think there's also this sort of American dream fantasy of a business owner drinking Mai Tais on the beach while somebody else runs an operation. And I'm here to tell you that that's just not the case that I've experienced. It would be great to sail off into the sunset and let shareholders just, make money and just all this stuff. But nobody runs it quite like an owner, even a partial owner does. So I think the next step, if I really wanted to make good on my goal and my hope to have more family time and less stress work time, is to have other people that act as owners and want to see the company grow with profit. Finding those people is very difficult. Getting people to show up on time, managing employees, contacts, you're let down every step of the way. That's just how the world works. Mm-hmm. So I don't need to take this to $100 million company. I think that would just mean more time in the company. I don't think it would be more time with family. What I do want is more efficiency and more quality of life. That's the next goal.
Gotcha. Well, fantastic. Ari, if folks are looking to hire Bacharach Construction, what are the best places to get in touch with you guys?
Well, I think sending a note and making a phone call is really important. We do have some information out there on how to reach us. We get busy. Sometimes we don't respond within a day, but we're available by and large, and we usually get back to people. I have an email, I have a phone number, the company has listed as well.
Okay. Fantastic. Well, their website is bcbpdx.com.
That's right.
Yeah. Beautiful site. Fantastic, Ari. Well, thank you so much for taking your time today and sharing your wisdom with us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mark.